It is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I have a Scrap and Ink Crafts design team layout for you today. I am using the Colors of Magic number 125, and I was showing you that piece of paper that's like from 2004. Like, it's super old. I'm going to take a little bit of time and show you what I will be using from the shop on this layout, but I will actually, I'll tell you as we go too, but just a quick little flip through of the things that I wanted to use. So not only was I inspired by the colors, but I was also inspired by the photo. So I have two photos from Toy Story Mania that I want to use. And I thought, well, of course, it's perfect to do a Toy Story layout using a Toy Story Colors of Magic. So I'm going to start with that lime green and the yellow, and I'm going to make a mat. So I'm going to gut that green paper because I like to mat my photos with the background paper a lot of the time. So I'm going to go ahead and gut that. I'm going to trim down my yellow paper. This is a Vicki Boutin paper, and when Tuesday Morning was here, they had like 25 sheets of it, and I feel like there's just not enough yellow paper in the world, so I went ahead and grabbed that whole thing, which totally works. So I decide to glue down my middle piece of paper a little wonky. So I figure, not everything has to be so straight all the time. So you can see it's a little off kilter a little bit. And I did distress all of the edges. So here are my two photos. One is of Buzz Lightyear, and then one is taken of my kids, and they are playing the game. Obviously, I didn't win because I wanted to take pictures. And then what I did was I took a scrap piece of paper and I cut out the Epcot background die, and I'm going to use it as a stencil with some blue to go with the dark blue in the Colors of Magic, and I'm pretty sure that's Chip Sapphire. Yes. Just had to look at my tin and see where it was. So doesn't that look so cool? Like, I totally saved this. Not that I couldn't make another stencil later, but I think it's such a good stencil. So I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a diagonal design with this stencil. And I'm not pushing like super hard, but I'm definitely not being gentle, because let's be honest, I'm not very gentle. So I kind of put my photos down to decide if I had enough stencil work or if there were certain areas that I wanted it to stand out. So then I have that done, and I'm going to kind of put my photos there in the middle. And I've got my dies out, and I'm going to go ahead and go off camera and use my dies. So the first die was the viewfinder die, and I cut that out in a red and white, I think it's polka dot. Yeah, red and white polka dot paper. So that pulls in that color red. And then to bring in some more of that blue from the stenciling, I cut out a strip of tickets using the ticket die. And I did that in blue. And then in that same polka dotted paper, I went ahead and made a shaker pocket using the Star Shaker set. And I filled it with the Toy Story pixie dust. And then I made a second one with the same dye and pixie dust, but I used that green background paper instead. So now I have some green stars and some red stars, and I'm going to put one on each end. I'm going to decide to put the green one on top because I'm going to put that viewfinder in between where those pictures meet. And of course, I had to add a sparkle gem to the center of that viewfinder because it fits absolutely perfectly. And then I added those tickets off to the left-hand side. Well, I felt like I needed a tag. And instead of cutting a tag, I decided to stamp a tag, but I'm not going to stamp the whole tag. I am just going to stamp the top with the park tag stamp set, and because that's really all I need, which works out perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that on a scratch piece of paper in that same sapphire blue, and I'm going to trim it down, and then I'm going to stick it on top of my photo. I do punch the hole in it. I am realizing that there is no twine in there, and I really wanted to put some green and white twine in that. So I will definitely have to make sure that that happens before I put this away. So next, I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. I am going to take the, they're like Starburst, and that is also from that same park tag stamp set. And I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping along that diagonal. So I want shaker stars, I want stamped stars, I want the plain cutout stars from the die set. And eventually I will add some of the stars from the pixie dust as well. So lots and lots of stars are happening on this layout, and I love it. So I started stamping and then realized, I probably should figure out where my die cut stars are going to be before I do any more stamping. And then I decided at this point, you know what? I'm gonna work on my title. So I stamp this word fun again on a scrap piece of paper, again with that Distress ink in chipped sapphire. And I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut that out. And I actually do think that I make you watch. I was totally in the zone and was not even thinking that I needed to worry about pausing the video. So you're just going to get my little bit of fussy cutting. It's not a ton, and I didn't choose to cut out the inside of the U. I think that if I had wanted to do that, I would have needed to get my X-Acto knife out, and I was just lazy. But I like how it looks. Like, it doesn't bother me at all that's still there. So that is going to be actually the center of my title. So I'm going to put my title down there at the bottom. And now I'm going to bring out some acrylic pieces. So these two acrylic pieces are going to finish off my title. They are from Toy Story number 8. So my whole title is going to say To Infinity, Fun, and Beyond. So that is going to be my title. And then I pulled the Buzz Lightyear and the word Toy Story from the acrylic set Toy Story number 7. And I'm going to put those by the photo of Buzz Lightyear. And I'm going to go ahead and glue them down with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, which holds fabulously. And since I have those on, I'm going to do the final little touches with the pixie dust. I'm going to scatter a bunch of those stars. I did want to point out that right above the acrylic piece that says Toy Story is a little Mickey head in that red and white paper. And that is actually the center of the viewfinder. So not only do you get the viewfinder die, but you'll end up with an extra Mickey head, which can always be used. So that is perfect. So I did snuggle that up in that cluster. So I do have basically 3 main clusters for this layout and a title. So, I mean, if you counted the title as a cluster, then I have 4, but I'm looking at it as 3 embellishment clusters and 1 title cluster. So now that I have that done, I'm going to realize that I need a little bit more stars. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp quite a bit more, actually. I wanted to put some around my title, and I needed some more up there at the top. I couldn't get my stamping block next to that acrylic piece, so I went ahead and just took it off, attached it to my finger, and stamped it that way, and it worked just fine. So you don't always have to do your stamping before you glue everything down. Because let's be honest, I don't follow all the rules, and that's okay. So I do have a bunch of close-ups for you. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Make sure you head over to the shop and use my code Crystal B as in boy 15, and that will save you 15% off in the shop. And I'd love to hear if you use your dies as stencils, because they're great for what they're meant for, but there's so many other uses that you could possibly do for it. So give yourself a try at this color of magic, and remember to wear your crown, and I'll see you next time. Bye.